Hare Krishna.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Nara Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Dear devotees, Hare Krishna. So, welcome to this class. Yesterday, what we had done is that we had completed where Uddhava is actually remembering the attractive beauty of the Lord. And now, from the 15th shloka onwards,
Hare Krishna ji.
Lord Krishna's mercy and his bewildering activities will be actually described. So let's move on. Give me just 1 minute. I'm sharing the screen for you. Yeah. So give me just 1 minute. So he says that Swashanta Rupeshva Itare Swarupera Abhyadhadyamanashev Anukampitatma Paravaresho Mahat Yukto Hijo api jato Bhagavan Yaganihi. Sorry, Yathagnihi. Yeah. Rupa Mataji, please read the translation and purport.
Hare Krishna. Translation. The personality of Godhead, the all-compassionate controller of both the spiritual and material creations, is unborn. But when there is friction between his peaceful devotees and persons who are in the material modes of nature, he takes birth just like fire accompanied by the Mahatattva or birds. The devotees of the Lord are by nature peaceful because they have no material hankering. A liberated soul has no hankering, and therefore he has no lamentation. One who wants to possess also laments when he loses his position. Devotees have no hankering for material possessions and no hankering for spiritual salvation. They are situated in the transcendental loving service of the Lord as a master of duty, and they do not mind where they are or how they are to act. Karmis, jnanis, and yogis all hanker to possess some material or spiritual assets. Karmis with material possessions, jnanis, and yogis want spiritual possessions, but devotees do not want any material or spiritual assets. They want to serve the Lord anywhere in the material or spiritual worlds that the Lord desires, and the Lord is always specifically compassionate towards such devotees. The karmis, jnanis, and yogis have their particular mentalities in the modes of nature, and therefore they are called har itara or non-devotees. These itaras, including even the yogis, sometimes harass the devotees of the Lord. Durvasa Muni, a great yogi, harassed Maharaj Ambarisha because the latter was a great devotee of the Lord, and the great Karmi and Gnani Hiranyakasipu even harassed his own Vaishnava son Prahlad Maharaja. There are many instances of such harassment of the peaceful devotees of the Lord by the Itaras. When such friction takes place, the Lord, out of his great compassion towards his pure devotees, appears in person accompanied by his plenary portions controlling the Mahatattva. The Lord is everywhere in both material and spiritual domains, and he appears for the sake of his devotees when there is friction between his devotee and non devotee. As electricity is generated by friction of matter anywhere and everywhere, the Lord, being all pervading, appears because of the friction of devotees and non devotees. When Lord Krishna appears, when Lord Krishna appears on a mission, all his plenary portions accompany him. When he appeared as the son of Vasudeva, there were differences of opinion about his incarnation. Some said he is Supreme Personality of Godhead, some said he is an incarnation of Narayana, and others said he is an incarnation of Kshirodaka Sai Vishnu. But actually, he is the original Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam, and Narayana, the, the Purushas and all other incarnations accompany him to function as different parts of his pastimes. Mahad Amsa Yuktaha indicates that he is accompanied by the Purushas who create the Mahat Tattva. It is confirmed in the Vedic hymns Mahantam Vibhum Atmanam. Lord Krishna appeared just like electricity when there was friction between Kamsa and Vasudeva and Ugrasena. Vasudeva and Ugrasena were the Lord's devotees, and Kamsa, a representative of Karmis and Jnanis, was a non-devotee. Krishna, as he is compared to the sun. He first appeared from the ocean of the womb of Devaki, and gradually he satisfied the inhabitants of the places surrounding Mathura, just as the sun enlivens the lotus flowers in the morning. After gradually rising to the meridian of Dwaraka, the Lord set like the sun, placing everything in darkness as described by Uddhava. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. So thank you very much. So over here, what is being said is that because being compassionate in mind, when the Lord's devotees are, afflicted by the demons, then Swayam Bhagavan, though actually Krishna does not have a material birth, he appears within this world along with all his Vishnu expansions. And since he is the form of all the forms of God and the Devata, so we hear from, it might be that, we hear from the mouth that, Vaikuntha Narayan came and appeared in Vasudev's house, and that very ancient Lord, he took a black and white hair that Krishna expands from Kshirodaksha Vishnu. Then he expands from Naranarayana or Vamana. And we also hear that Krishna with human pastimes, even he is situated in Dwarka and other places who has the highest form. So what is the real truth? Somebody might just question. So over here, Prabhupada is making absolutely very clear, and even Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, in his commentary, he says that Krishna is the Lord of the Narayana forms. And that is why, if you see over here, Para Avara, spiritual and material. So he's saying that Krishna is the Lord of all these Narayana forms, and he's beyond Prakriti also, and is Lord of Brahma also. Avara means, others also. It means other demigods also and other living entities also. And this Krishna, who is he? He is Swayam Bhagwan. And then this Bhagwan is endowed with forms such as, Mahavishnu, who is the creator of the Mahatattva, and many amshas also like the Kurma, Matsya, Narhari, Narayan, and Vamana. So when the devotees, they are, afflicted by the demons, then Krishna, whose mind is very much compassionate, Anukampita Atma. Okay. So he appears in this world. Though he is unborn, without any material, you can say, birth. And then he says that is why Lord is called Mahat. So Mahat, Mahantam, and Vibhu Mahatmanam. So we have this word Mahat Amsha Yukta. Okay. So we in Sanskrit, if you see Mahat, Mahantam, and you have Maha-Atmanam, all these, gradations we have, where in English, you have good, better, best, or hot, hotter, hottest, that way. So, Mahantam Vibhu Mahatmanam Matva Dhiras na sochati. So then he is saying that that knowing that, okay, this Lord is actually the producer of even Mahatattva, and that is why the intelligent people, they do not lament for it. So just, Krishna is just like a, fire, and he's being eternally present as one of the, 5 basic elements, when appears when, jewels or stones are rubbed. So this means that he is eternally present in his abodes, such as Mathura, Dwaraka, and Vaikuntha or Goloka. So when his devotees in Mathura, like Vasudev and Ugrasen, okay, they're mentioning about here about Vasudev and Ugrasen, right? So Krishna appeared just like electricity when there was friction between Kamsa and Vasudev and Ugrasen. So when his devotees in Mathura, they are, like Vasudev and Ugrasen, they are afflicted by his Kripa Shakti, which is like that friction that produces fire. And that's how Lord becomes visible, or Lord appears. The rising sun, like the sun is in the eastern direction. That is, if you can assume that, okay, In eastern direction is Devaki. On the sunrise mountain is like Mathura. And then what is Krishna doing? He is extinguishing the evil persons, which are very much similar to darkness. And it is satisfying all the devotees who are like lotuses, right? And he's saying that he's saying that, and that is why devotees who are longing for Krishna, they are also called Charvaka birds, and they have been actually tormented by the darkness, darkness of, from the demons and ignorance and all. And that is why he's appearing on the sunset mountain, the Prabhasa. That is, Prabhas means morning. And in this way, this example of sun is very suitable comparison with Krishna's appearance and disappearance. So this clearly is showing actually how the Lord is present in his abode, and being present in his abode, he is making his appearance. So he is not Narayana coming from Vaikuntha, or he is not Narayan coming from Shirodaksha Vishnu, coming from the milk ocean, or the Nar Narayan or Vamana, coming from their abodes to make an appearance in this world. Although all these forms have their eternal abodes, when Krishna appears, he comes with all these amshas. Mahat amsha yuktasya. He's saying that. Mahat amsha yuktasya. So he's saying that these all amshas also, what they do is they merge within Krishna, the Lord of all of these. And that is why he says that Paravashesha, there is a word actually, it's called Paravashesha. So, that is why when Krishna is coming with all his amshas, expansions and planary expansion and expansions of his planary expansions also. And then all the doubts get resolved very quickly, because Krishna is coming as it is on this earth planet. And this is what, is being said when we say, no, Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. And the Narayana, the Purushas, and all other incarnations accompany him to function as different parts of his pastimes. Mahat Amsha Yukta indicates that he is accompanied by the Purushas who create the Mahat Tanva. It is confirmed in the Vedic hymn that Mahantam Vibhun Atmanam. So that way. Okay, Rupa Mataji had a question. What is that question? Wanting to serve Krishna is considered as a desire to? Wanting to serve Krishna is considered as a desire to? But that is a positive desire that is going to take you more closer to Krishna. So karmis want material possessions, jnanis and yogis want spiritual possessions, but devotees do not want any material or spiritual assets. Yeah, so devotees, they don't want any material and spiritual assets, but by default, Krishna provides them what is necessary for them. And devotees don't endeavor, they accept what is coming on its own accord. Okay. And Mataji, this Mahat Tattva, no, this will be explained much in detail in ahead in the third canto. This Mahat Tattva again and again it keeps on popping up. So there will be a detailed description of Mahat Tattva that will be explaining actually in the what do you say, the further chapters. I think it should be the which chapter it should be. Lord Kapil Dev's chapter. Yeah. That again, Lord Kapila will only explain this Mahat Tattva in great detail. So you'll have to wait till then. Because it's a very, 1 or 2 hours explanation it is. So wanting to serve, chant these many rounds, wanting to serve Krishna, wanting to advance in spiritual growth, are these all considered to be desires too? Yeah, these are all positive desires, and actually person should desire only these things. Person should not desire anything other than this. A person should not desire anything that is not connected to Krishna. Now, all these activities, what you are saying, no, Mataji, Rupa Mataji, these all activities are connected to Krishna. So these are only the things we should desire. I want to advance in spiritual life, and these are also, desires, and these are such positive desires, which are so desiring to desire Krishna. That is only the desire we should have. So that way. Okay, so let's go to the next. Yeah. So further he says that what is Mataji saying? Okay, yeah. Mam khedatya etad ajasya janma vidambanam yad vasudeva gehe vraje cha vasori bhayat iva swayam purat vyavasid yad ananta viryah. Sushil Prabhu, please read the translation and purport both.
Hare Krishna. Translation: When I think of Lord Krishna, how he was born in the prison house of Vasudeva, although he is unborn, how he went away from his father's protection to Braja and lived there incognito out of fear of the enemy, and how, although unlimitedly powerful, he fled from Mathura in fear. All these bewildering incidents give me distress. Purport: Because Lord Krishna is the original person from whom everything and everyone has emanated. Aham Sarvasya Prabhava. Bhagavad-gītā 10.8. Janmadi Asyata Vedanta Sutra 1.1.2. Nothing can be equal to or greater than him. The Lord is supremely perfect, and whenever he enacts his transcendental pastimes as a son, a rival, or an object of enmity, we plays the part so perfectly that even pure devotees like Uddhava are bewildered. For example, Uddhava knew perfectly well that Lord Shri Krishna is eternally existent and can neither die nor disappear for good. Yet he lamented for Lord Krishna. All these events are perfect arrangements to give perfection to his supreme glories. It is for enjoyment's sake. When a father plays with his little son and the father lies down on the floor as if defeated by the son, it is just to give little son pleasure and nothing more. Because the Lord is all powerful, it is possible for him to adjust opposites such as birth and no birth, power and defeat, fear and fearlessness. A pure devotee knows very well how it is possible for Lord to adjust opposite things. But he laments for the non-devotees who, not knowing the supreme glories of the Lord, think of him as imaginary simply because there are so many apparently contradictory statements in the scriptures. Factually, there is nothing contradictory. Everything is possible when we understand the Lord as the Lord and not one of us with all our imperfection. Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you so much. So, over here, what he is saying is something very interesting he is saying, okay? He's saying that Krishna's appearance in this, house of, give me 1 minute, okay? Yeah. So he's saying that Krishna's appearance in the prison house of Kamsa in miserable conditions. Okay. His stay in, his stay in Vraja out of the fear of enemies, and his leaving Mathura, though he has infinite power, used to give me, great suffering. So who is actually saying this over here? Uddhava is saying this. Okay. So Uddhava is actually remembering you. So three things he is saying over here, that Krishna's appearance in Kamsa, whenever I think about, Krishna's appearance in the prison house of Kamsa, it's in very miserable conditions, and his stay in Vraja out of the fear of enemies. So in Vraja, if you know, that Krishna used to every day deal with demons. And every day, the Vrajavasis used to always be in fear. And then when Krishna left Mathura, though he had infinite powers, so that is giving, all these instances are giving me greater distress. The Uddhava is saying this. So he's saying that I have revealed the truth, whatever I have understood. But I could not understand this difficult subject, even though I have asked many learned people. And he says, I was too much in grief previously. And that is why he is actually, he's actually, this is his grief being told into this particular shloka. And he's saying that how is it possible for a person without birth to take birth? There should be no grief if what appears to be a birth is actually just an, imitation of birth, and it is not actual birth. And so actually Uddhava, he intends to show that Krishna has both actual birth and an appearance of birth. His birth in the prison of Kamsa is giving pain to Uddhava. And actually, it previously gave him pain. And so the present tense is always used to express times nearer to the present tense. Like, so because his birth pastime, even in degraded circumstances, could create the greatest joy in the Devaki or Vasudev or Yashoda or Nanda or his Gopa friends and other, gopis and all. So why did he, as the independent Lord, not do anything about it? So he's naturally, because he's full of bliss, and that is why he's known to stay in Vraja out of the fear of enemies. So certain words over here, they used to express the fact that he should have not been afraid of Kamsa while living in Vraja. And when he fled from Mathura, that time also he should not be. But though, though Krishna has unlimited strength, he fled from Kalyavana and out of fear of others, like even from the battlefield, when he was fighting with Jarasan. So Bhishma said, if you see in the first canto, what is Bhishma saying? That nobody can know the plan of Krishna. Even the great philosophers, when they're inquiring so much exhaustively and, so in details and all, they still are also bewildered. So all these bewildering incidents saying that. So then, and that is why when Uddhava, he's asking the Lord in private, then the Lord had enlightened him in the 11th canto. And that is why, because the Lord had enlightened him, his lamentation had gone. So the Bhagavad-gītā was spoken by the Lord to Uddhava. So Uddhava, knew perfectly well that the Lord Krishna is eternally existent and can neither die nor disappear for good. Yet he lamented for Krishna. And all these events are perfect arrangements to give perfection to his supreme glories. And that is why to Uddhava, when he gave that knowledge, then all that lamentation, Uddhava had 3 lamentations. All that lamentation was gone when Krishna enlightened him with Bhagavad-gītā. So let's check with the okay. Oh, this is a nice shloka. He says that this is which shloka? 17th, no? Okay. Dhunoti cheta smarato mameta yad aha pandava abhivandai frito tatamba kamsat uru sankitanam prasiddhatam no krita nishkritinam. Yeah, Priyanka, read the translation and purport both.
Priyanka Mataji is in hearing mode, I guess, Mataji.
Okay. Fine. You say. You read.
Mataji, Akshita Mataji also joined somebody.
Akshita Mataji. Read.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Vrinda is missing. Vrinda has been attending or she's been missing class? Yeah, read beta, Akshita.
Yes, Mataji. Lord Krishna begged pardon from his parents for their Krishna and Balarama inability to serve their feet due to being away from home because of great fear of Kamsa. He said, "O mother, O father, please excuse us for this inability. All this behavior of the Lord gives me pain at heart." Purport. It appears that Lord Krishna and Baladeva were both very greatly afraid of Kamsa, and therefore they had to hide themselves. But if Lord Krishna and Baladeva, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, how was it possible that they were afraid of Kamsa? Is there any contradiction in these statements? Vasudeva, due to his great appreciation for Krishna, wanted to give him protection. He never thought that Kamsa was the Supreme Lord. Krishna was a Supreme Lord and could protect himself. He thought of Krishna as his son. Because Vasudeva was a great devotee of the Lord, he did not like to think that Krishna might be killed like his other children. Morally, Vasudeva was bound to deliver Krishna to the hands of Kamsa. Because he had promised to turn over all his children. But out of his great love for Krishna, he broke his promise, and the Lord was very pleased with Vasudeva for his transcendental mentality. He did not want to disturb the intense affection of Vasudeva, and thus he agreed to be carried by his father to the house of Nanda and Yashoda. And just to test that intense love of Vasudeva, Lord Krishna fell down in the waters of Yamuna while his father was crossing the river. Vasudeva became mad after his child as he tried to recover him in the midst of rising river.
Yeah.
These are all glorified pastimes of Lord, and there is no contradiction in such manifestations. Since Krishna is the Supreme Lord, he is never afraid of Kamsa, but to please his father, he agreed to do so. And the most brilliant part of his supreme character was that he begged pardon from his parents for being unable to serve their feet while absent from home because of fear of Kamsa. The Lord whose lotus feet are worshipped by demigods like Brahma and Shiva wanted to worship the feet of Vasudeva. Such instruction by the Lord to the world is quite appropriate. Even if one is a supreme Lord, one must serve his parents. A son is indebted to his parents in so many ways, and it is the duty of the son to serve his parents, however great the son may be. Indirectly, Krishna wanted to teach the atheists who do not accept the supreme fatherhood of God, and they may learn from this action how much the supreme father has to be respected. Uddhava was simply struck with wonder by such glorious behavior of the Lord, and he was very sorry that he was unable to go with him. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yeah, so there is a question in the chat box. Who were Vasudev, Devaki, Nanda Maharaj worshipping as Lord at that time? So they were worshipping the Vishnu form at that point of time. Okay. Nanda and Yashoda were worshipping whom as Lord? Because they treat Krishna as their son. So yes, they were worshipping Narayan only, the four-handed form. All these four, they were worshipping Narayan only. If you see, when Krishna was born, immediately he was born in four-handed form as Narayana. So that is how they are worshipping Krishna as in the form of Narayana only. Okay, sorry, they're worshipping Narayana and they think Krishna as their son. They don't think Krishna as the Supreme Lord. Okay, that way. So this particular shloka, if you see, where he's saying that, where he's saying that even the gopis, they're also worshipping Narayan only. So he says that Dhunoti Chetaha Smarato Mametat. He's saying that remembering his conduct, my heart fills with pain. Bowing at the feet of his parents, he said, please forgive me because being greatly fearful of Kansa, I could not serve you. So actually, these are Krishna's words, okay, to his parents. So when Uddhava is remembering Krishna's activity, he's saying that his heart produced by karma becomes very much afflicted. He is, he consoles his parents for his offense, be pleased with, us as such. And so his parents are also saying that, we are also very greatly fearful of Kamsa. And if this statement is true, then it is a contradiction to his position as the Lord. How can the Lord, the Supreme Lord, be very fearful? Or how come his parents can be fearful? And if it is false, then how can the Lord speak, untrue words also? So that is why Uddhava was in grief previously also. And then he's saying that how can he forget, Krishna's humility, conforming to this convention, which nourished his sweetness, even though he is the highest form of the Lord. Uddhava is saying that that conduct is piercing my heart like an arrow. And this is the actually lamentation of Uddhava, that how can the Lord be so very much affectionate, merciful, compassionate? These all things are actually, so Uddhava is remembering the magnanimity of the Lord, who is merciful even to, not only to his parents, but even to his enemy. And in the further shlokas, we'll see that how is he merciful even to the non-devotees or even to the asuras. So, saying that, Yeah, all these Vraja people, Vraja Gopi, all Narayan only. Kova amyushangri sarojarenu vismartum istapuman vijigrahan yova vishpurat bruhu vipatena bhume bharam krutantena tirachakaraha. So he's saying further. Anuprabhu, please read the purport and translation both.
Purport, translation. Who, after smelling the dust of his lotus feet even once, could ever forget it? Simply by expanding the leaves of his eyebrows, Krishna has given the death blow to those who were burdening the earth. Purport. Lord Krishna cannot be accepted as one of the human beings, even though he played the role of an obedient son. His actions were so extraordinary that by the simple raising of his eyebrows, he could deliver death blows to those who were burdening the earth.
Yeah. So, those who are not the Lord can also act like this. So, is it it is your faith only that he is the Lord? So, there are 3 verses actually. The next 3 verses will be actually answering this. That, by the quivering butts of his arrows, and which were even death personified, and he removed the burden of the earth. So he says that this Vitapa means actually the bud. If you see over here, he says that bud, or it could be a shrub also. It could be or a branch also. So say that he could remove that burden, from the earth. So because this particular verse is saying that if anybody, after having tasted that the dust from the lotus feet of the Lord, how can he forget the Supreme Lord, who has removed this burden of the earth by the death in the form of his, eyebrows? So that's what he's saying over here. So the next he's saying that Drishta bhavadbhirnanuраಜಸೂಯೇ चैदस्य कृष्णं विश्यतो अपि सिद्धः यां योगिनं संस्पृहायन्ति सम्यगः योगेन कस्तद् viraham sahetah. So he's saying that further. Anuprabhu, please continue reading the translation and purport both.
Translation. You have personally seen how the king of Chedi, Shishupal, achieved success in yoga practice. Although he hated Lord Krishna, even the actual yogis aspire after such success with great interest by performance of their various practices. Who can tolerate separation from him? Purport. Lord Krishna's causeless mercy was exhibited in the great assembly of Maharaj Yudhishthira. He was merciful even to his enemy, the king of Chedi, who always tried to be an envious rival of the Lord. Because it is not possible to be a bona fide rival of the Lord, the king of Chedi was extremely malicious towards Lord Krishna. In this, he was like many other asuras, such as Kams and Jarasandha. In the open assembly of the Rajasuya sacrifice performed by Maharaj Yudhishthira, Shishupal insulted Lord Krishna and he was finally killed by the Lord. But it was seen by everyone in the assembly that a light flashed out of the body of Krishna, of the king of Chedi, and merged into the body of Lord Krishna. This means that Chediraj achieved the salvation of attaining oneness with the Supreme, which is a perfection most desired by the Jnanis and Yogis, and for which they execute their different types of transcendental activities. It is a fact that persons who are trying to understand the Supreme Truth by their personal endeavors of mental speculation or mystic powers of yoga achieve the same goal as others who are personally killed by the Lord. Both achieve the salvation of merging in the Brahmajyoti rays of the transcendental body of the Lord. The Lord was merciful even to his enemy, and the success of the king of Chedi was observed by everyone who was present in the assembly. Vidura was also present there, and therefore Uddhav referred the incident to his memory.
Yeah, thank you so much. So, actually, if you see this Shishupal, there is actually a history behind this. Who was Shishupal, and why did Krishna kill Shishupal? So, in one of the sections, actually, it comes that Shishupal means, Shishu means children, and Pal means the one who protects the children. But Shishupal, he was the king of this Chedi kingdom. And he was the son of King Damaghosha. And what is his mother's name? Shushta Shubha. And she was the sister of Vasudev and Kunti. And as well as the cousin of Nanda also. So, and that's how Shishupal happens to be the cousin of Krishna. So, he was punished at that point of time in the Mahabharata because Shishupal was born with actually 3 eyes and 4 arms. And actually, his parents were too much, wanting or inclined to, throw him out. But there was a voice from the heaven which came and told them that please do not do this. And that time hasn't come. So it was already foretold that his body parts would disappear when a certain person took the child into his lap, and that he would eventually die at the hands of that same person. So one day Krishna, when he came to visit his cousin, Krishna placed that child on his lap, and that extra eye and that extra arms, they disappeared. And that is how it was indicated that Krishna only will be, killing Shishupal, or his death is destined at the hands of Krishna. So, in the Mahabharata, Shishupal's mother, is actually persuading Krishna, the nephew, that see, please pardon, your cousin Shishupal. Please do this. So Krishna is saying that, okay, for 100 offenses I will forgive him, but 101 I will not forgive him. I'll slash him. Like so, Rukmi was very close to the Shishupal, and he wanted his sister Rukmini to get married to Shishupal. But before that ceremony could take place, Rukmini eloped with Krishna. And that is why that incident made Shishupal hate Krishna more, all the more. So when Yudhishthir Maharaj, had, when Yudhishthir Maharaj was conducting this Rajasuya Yagya, he sent Bhima to, to fetch actually Shishupal. Because, Shishupal's father had also, died in that battle, and Shishupal accepted actually Yudhishthir's supremacy, and he did not protest. And he was even invited to that final ceremony in the Indraprastha where the Rajasuya Yagya was happening. So at that particular event, the Pandavas, they decided that Krishna would be, the special guest of honor of that sacrificial ceremony. So, this made even Shishupal very angry. He started insulting Krishna a lot and calling him, many names like you're a cowherd boy and you're worthless and you're not fit to be a king. And also, he also actually started insulting Bhishma also, calling, his vow to remain, celibate throughout his life. He said that this is, only cowards take such vows and all that. He was actually saying all these things. So, actually, Bhishma became very furious. And he at that time, if you see in the Mahabharata, he had threatened also Shishupal. But then, Krishna calmed him down. And when he committed that 100th sin, and after committing that 100th sin also, he was pardoned by Krishna. But when he insulted Krishna again, 101 time, then Krishna, sent his Sudarshan Chakra or released his Sudarshan Chakra, and killing that Sudarshan Chakra killed Shishupal on the spot. So Shishupal's soul was liberated and he did attain salvation. He attained salvation by merging into Krishna's body. So this Shishupal Vad, this Shishupal Vad is a very, very historic thing where how Krishna is so mercifully forgiving him, but 100 offenses also he has forgiven. That is why I remember my mother and she used to always give this example. If Krishna can forget 100 offenses of anybody, why can't we forgive one offense of somebody? If Krishna is so magnanimous, can't we, being devotees of Krishna, equally forgive if somebody has done even something slightest to us? So, there are many people, who write poetries also on this Shishupal Vad, though I have not heard, but I've just, I have not, read those poetries. I've just heard that they actually, write poetries on the Shishupal Yad. And even this Shishupal's sons, they were also actually, killed on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. So that's the little history about Shishupal. Shishupal, now this Shishupal and Dantavakra. Okay. So this Dantavakra also, these both are, these are Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. Okay. So this Dantavakra, Danta means what? Danta means teeth. And Vakra means what? Vakra means crooked teeth. So this Dantavakra is, Jay. Is Dantavakra Jay? Shishupal is Jay. And Dantavakra is Vijay actually. Shishupal is Jay. Yeah. So, this Dantavakra, he's named Dantavakra because he had very crooked teeth after his birth. And he was very much favorable with Jarasan, Kamsa, Pondraka, Shishupal, all these, and these all, Toli, these group of, demons were enemies to Krishna. So Dantavakra is actually more, you can say that he was more inimical towards Krishna. So even in the Mahabharata, Pandava may say Sahadev, he actually defeats this Dantavakra. And because this Dantavakra, he attacks Krishna, who is actually going towards Dwarka after that Rajasuya Yagya, which actually Dantavakra had not attended because he was protesting this killing of Jarasandha. So to avenge that, the death, this of Shishupal and his friend. There was one more friend, I don't remember who that friend was, but there were two friends as such. And then he strikes his cousin on the head with his mace. So Krishna strikes, his chest with that Kaumadaki, and that is how this Dantavakra spitted out blood. And, his brother also, dies in that same battle. His brother is, I think, Viduratha. So this is actually a little story about Dantavakra also. It's not much given in the Mahabharata in detail, or even if it is given, I have not read Mahabharata in details. So Shishupal had another friend also called Shalva. So this Shishupal and Shalva, they both were also actually, killed actually. Both were killed. All the demons were killed by Krishna. Okay. Who are their wives, Mataji? Whose wives? Shishupal's wife.
Dantavakra and Shishupal.
No, I don't know. I have no idea about them. Who are their wives? And I've never heard also about their wives. That who are their wives as such.
Because Shishupal is envious that Krishna took Rukmini. So I was wondering whom he married.
No. I have no clue about that. That whom did Shishupal marry, or whom did even Dantavakra marry? Or in fact, even I don't even know who are the wives of Jaya Vijay also in the spiritual world in Vaikuntha. No idea about it.
So Mataji, Jaya and Vijaya are none other than Dantavakra and Shishupal.
Yes. Jaya Vijay took 3 births, no? Shishupal, Dantavakra, Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakashipu, and Ravan and Kumbhakaran.
Then in the Damodar Leela, when Lord Krishna takes that.
That is Nal Kuvera. That is Nal Kuvera. They are the sons of Kuvera.
Oh, they are sons of Kuber. Okay.
They are different people. They are different people. They are nowhere, they are not demons at all. They were demigods. And they were punished. Oh, okay, so which is the shloka? 20th shloka? Okay. Okay. तथैव चान्य नरलोकवीर य आवे कृष्णा मुखारविन्दं नेत्र पिबन्तो नयनम् अभिरामा पार्थस्तपुतः पद्मापुरस्य. Sushil Prabhu, please read this translation and purport both.
Hare Krishna. Translation. Certainly others who are fighters on the battlefield of Kurukshetra were purified by the onslaught of Arjuna's arrows. And while seeing the lotus-like face of Krishna, so pleasing to the eyes, they achieved the award of the Lord. Purport. The Supreme Personal of Godhead, Lord Śrī Krishna, appears in this world for 2 missionary purposes: to deliver the faithful and to annihilate the miscreants. But because the Lord is absolute, his two different kinds of actions, although apparently different, are ultimately one and the same. His annihilation of a person like Shishupala is as auspicious as his actions for the protection of the faithful. All the warriors who fought against Arjuna, but who were able to see the lotus-like face of the Lord uh, on the battlefield, achieved the abode of the Lord, exactly as the devotees of the Lord do. The words pleasing to the eye of the seer are very significant. When the warriors from the other side of the battlefield saw Lord Krishna at the front, they appreciated his beauty and their dormant instinct of love of God was awakened. Shishupala saw the Lord also, but he saw him as his enemy, and his love was not awakened. Therefore, Shishupala achieved oneness with the Lord by merging in the impersonal glare of his body, called the Brahmajyoti. Others who were in the marginal position, being neither friends nor enemies, were slightly in love of Godhead by appreciating the beauty of his face, were at once promoted to the spiritual planets, the Vaikunthas. The Lord's personal abode is called Goloka Vrindavana, and the abodes where his plenary expressions reside are called Vaikunthas, where the Lord is present as Narayana. Love of Godhead is dormant in every living entity, and the entire process of devotional service unto the Lord is meant for awakening this dormant eternal love of Godhead. But there are degrees of such transcendental awakening. Those whose love of God is awakened to the fullest extent, go back to the Goloka Vrindavana planet in the spiritual sky. Whereas the persons who have just awakened to love of Godhead by accident or association are transferred to the Vaikuntha planets. Essentially, there is no material difference between Goloka and Vaikuntha, but in the Vaikuntha, the Lord is served in unlimited opulences, whereas in Goloka, the Lord is served in natural affection. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhu. Thank you so much. So, yeah, there are degrees of, love between the Lord and his devotees. And primarily, Krishna comes to actually serve his devotees or to increase the faith of his devotees. Demons, what he can kill even sitting in his own abode. He does not need to, descend to this material world just to kill them. Just if he can, by the blink of his eye, if he can create the whole cosmic manifestation, then is it not possible for Krishna to, kill the demons sitting in his own abode? So, at this Rajasuya Yagya, Krishna gave liberation to Shishupal, even though Shishupal had hatred for the Lord. So actually, this is the magnanimity of the Lord. This is what he's trying to say, that these yogis, they achieve liberation by practicing yoga. But here is a person who just got liberation by hating Krishna. So what is his magnanimity? And that is why Uddhava is telling that how is it that I will tolerate the separation of such a merciful Lord? And even if Shishupal did not have that direct experience of the powers of the Lord, and he still, not knowing the powers or the direct experience of the powers of the Lord, Shishupal hated the Lord. And the Lord showed, you can say, unparalleled mercy to him. So, who can actually, who can tolerate his separation, and who can, how can such a merciful Lord, how can the Lord be so merciful? He just, that is bewildering to actually Shishupal also, sorry, to Uddhava also. So next he says, so the next shloka is a very wonderful shloka where the qualities of the Lord are, described. So very nice. He says that Swayam tam asamat asamam yati sasya trayadhishaha Swarajya Lakshmi apata samta kamaha Balim haradibhi chiralokapalehe Kirita kotayitita padapitaha. So he says that Lord Krishna is the Lord of all kinds of threes and is independently supreme by the achievement of all kinds of fortune. So when he says that Lord Krishna is the Lord of all kind of threes, which means that no one is, equal to him or superior to him. And he is the master of all the three energies. And he is the master of all the three Vishnus also. This is what the three actually means is. And then he is saying that he is worshipped by eternal maintainers of the creation who offer him the paraphernalia of worship by touching their millions of helmets to his lotus feet. So he's saying that all his desires are fulfilled by Lakshmi. And his rulership over his devotees, his pastimes, his qualities. So he says that if you see the word-to-word translation, let's see the word-to-word translation. I think I will be able to identify more with this. He says that amshaya atishayaha. He says that no one is equal to or superior to him. He is unique. Nobody is superior. And then he's saying that three adhisaha, the Lord of the three. So Lord of the three means, as I previously said also, that the three energies that of the Lord that are there, the three principal, you can say, potencies. Then the three Vishnus also, the three Vishnus also, or the three Purusha Avtaras also, the three Guna Avtaras also, the three modes of material also, modes of material nature also, the three worlds also, the heavenly planets, the earth, and the hellish planets. The three worlds also, and the three pairs of opulences also. So when he's saying that Swarajya Lakshmi Apta Samasta Kamaha, he's saying that Swarajya, he's supremely independent, and all his desires, Apta means he is whatever his desires are, he has achieved. Okay, all his desires are fulfilled as he is whose husband? He is the husband of Mother Lakshmi. He is the Lakshmi Apta Samasta Kamaha. And then he is saying that Balim Haradi Bis Chira Loka Palaha. He is worshipped by the eternal maintainers also of the creation with various paraphernalia. Chira Loka Palehe. Okay, with different parents, worshipped by all these eternal maintainers. Lokapala means eternal maintainers of the order of creation. And then he's saying that Kirita Koti Idita Padapatihi. So he's saying that the lotus feet of the Lord, they are honored by millions of helmets. Kirita Kotaya. Koti bolte na. Koti means millions of helmets. And Pitaha, they are honored by even prayers. So his feet are honored by millions of helmets that touch him. And how you can touch them? By offering prayers. So although the Lord is powerful, he still is submitting himself before Ugrasen. So again, Uddhava is lamenting for that also. So if you see in these two verses, Uddhava is actually lamenting how he could forget the sweetness of this Lord and his willingness to come under the control of his devotees. Though Krishna is the master of Brahma and all other demigods also, and the master of all the Vishnu forms also, he becomes the servant of even Ugrasen also. Right? And he has no equal, what to speak of even superior. So he is the Lord of all the three Purusha avatars, the Lord of all the Chit Shakti, Jiva Shakti, Maya Shakti also. And all his desires are fulfilled by Lakshmi. Whatever Krishna desires, immediately Mother Lakshmi fulfills it. And, even his rulership with his expansions, his devotees, his Shaktis, his pastimes, his powers, his sweetness. So his lotus feet are praised by, by millions and millions of, you can say, 10 millions of, you can say, crowns of long-lasting protection in all directions. So by Brahma's, acting as the creator in 10 million universes, and Vishnu protecting those universes, and by Shiva, who is actually destroying those universes, and Shesha, what is Shesha doing? He's holding up those universes. So he's saying that sound of the crowns, when they offer respect in praise, so that is called millions and millions of crowns or helmets. So this is what is being said into this particular shloka, where all his Shaktis, everybody is actually, everybody, whoever it may be, they want to completely surrender to Krishna. And who will not like to surrender to such a Lord? So this is what Uddhava is saying. Now let's see the next. So in the next shloka also, he is actually lamenting only. He is in actually pain only. So what we'll do is, actually there's a new section starting from this 22nd. What we'll do is, we'll take this tomorrow, so that, because there is a connection now, actually there's a Putana instance starting from here, that how Krishna gave the position of a mother also to Putana. So there is a connection. So I wouldn't touch it, because this requires a little elaborate explanation also. So anybody has any questions, queries, doubts? Okay.
Mataji, I have a question
Yeah.
in the chat room.
Uddhava seemingly lamented that his own position was less than that of the warriors on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, because he had attained to Vaikuntha, whereas he remained to lament the disappearance of the Lord. Is this good or bad? See, actually with devotees, no, nothing is bad. Okay, let's understand this. When a person becomes a devotee of Krishna, even if there is pain, in that pain also, the devotee does not feel that pain. The devotee is always in separation of the Lord, and that separation of the Lord, he might feel pain. But pain is not to the gross body. The pain is not even to the subtle body. The pain is straight to the soul. But even that pain is also transcendental pain. Why? Because in that transcendental pain also, that devotee is going more and more nearer to Krishna. So for the soul, there is no pain, there is no happiness, there is no distress. And so therefore, devotee, nothing is as bad. For devotees, everything is good only. If he is remembering Krishna, it is good. If Krishna is away from him, that is also good, because he will remember Krishna in separation. So yeah. So is this some form of jealousy? No, I don't think so. This is jealousy. Just let me actually try to understand your question. Uddhava singly lamented as his enthusiasm less than that of the warriors. No. See, Uddhava is an eternal associate of Krishna. So whether somebody is going first to Krishna or he is going last to Krishna, that does not matter, because he is an eternal associate of Krishna. Right? So for example, you are your mother's daughter. This is a fact and nobody can change this fact, right? And in that particular fact cannot be changed. So that is why Uddhava, he is the the eternal servant of the Supreme Lord. That fact cannot be changed at all. Okay. So that's how he cannot be jealous. If he's jealous, then he has to come on this earth back again. Over here, he is actually come as an to assist Krishna in his pastimes, right? That way. So, yeah, you're saying something in the last paragraph. Uddham Singh lamented for his own position less than because they had attained to Vaikuntha, whereas he remained to lament the disappearance of the Lord. Oh, that was a little painful, that Krishna has disappeared away from his eyesight. But definitely he'll go and meet Krishna back again. See, Krishna's eternal associates, they assist him in all his pastimes. Now, if even Krishna has disappeared, and even if Uddhava is lamenting over here, but when Krishna is appearing somewhere in some other universe, Uddhava also reaches over there. For some time, he'll be over here and he's lamenting for that short duration of time where he's not able to meet Krishna. But that is why we call now these all are scheduled incarnations of the Lord. So it is already scheduled. Krishna is going to appear in this millennium, in this form as such. So Uddhava will still reach to Krishna and assist him in that particular pastime. Like say, for example, in one of the universes, Krishna is actually killing Aghasur at the moment. Okay. And in another universe, Krishna is actually stealing the butter. In the third universe, Krishna has just, finished, delivering Nalakuvera, where he was tied to the grinding motor. So that is why we call these pastimes as Nitya Leela or eternal pastimes. Why? Because these pastimes are going on in some or the other universe. These are non-stop pastimes. So he finishes over here this pastime, he goes there. He finishes there, he goes there. So these pastimes are happening. Or in some other universe, the Lord is actually currently taken the Vaman Rupa, and he is acting as Lord Vaman Dev, and he's asking 3 steps of land. So these all pastimes of Krishna, they are eternal pastimes and they keep on going. So Uddhava will temporarily lament, but ultimately he will be reaching Krishna very soon. So that is a temporary lamentation for him, and that is a spiritual lamentation for him. that lamentation is going to take him more closer to Krishna. When we lament over here, what happens is we don't gain anything, right? We just keep on lamenting, and BP, blood sugar, cholesterol level keeps on, increasing. But when these transcendental devotees of the Lord, when they lament, then their lamentation will bring out something, something different only. Like, for example, when Yudhishthira Maharaj had lamented, what happened? He went to Bhishma Dev, and Bhishma Dev spoke Vishnu Sahasranam, right? In the 9th chapter of the 1st canto. When Arjuna lamented, Krishna spoke the Bhagavad-gītā. When Parikshit Maharaj lamented, then Srila Shukdev Goswami recited the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. So all these lamentations that are there, they will bring out something new only, right? Yeah. Asking because even in case of Hayadeva Goswami, he didn't get his darshan, but his wife to get. Jayadev Goswami. He didn't get his darshan, but his wife did. He lamented too. Oh, that is like, transcendental lamentation. So, for devotees, they are carrying Krishna in his own heart, in their own hearts. That is temporary lamentation. That is not very serious lamentation. But in that lamentation also, Jayadev Goswami wrote the Gita Govinda, right? So when he lamented that point of time, what came out? Gita Govinda came out from his this. So
The question is how to take these lamentations of the pure devotees.
Lamentation of the pure devotee, that only we should take it that something good is coming out from that lamentation. That when they are lamenting out of separation, and when we are lamenting, out of our own, ulterior motives, desires, and envy and fear. We are lamenting material things, we are lamenting out of. But that is spiritual and transcendental lamentation.
But then what happens to this samadristi then? Taking everything in equanimous, they say, right?
Yeah. So means what you're trying to ask me? The question is not clear.
Like if they know the position of the Lord, for pure devotees, even the lamentation shouldn't occur, right? Because they have to see everything in the equal vision.
No, these are rasas. See, these are the secondary rasas. And these secondary rasas enhance the relationship between the Lord and his devotees. There are different rasas. There are 5 primary rasas and 7 secondary rasas. Right? So if these rasas are not there, no, that relation does not become condensed. These rasas are there to make that relationship more condensed. And that's why these rasas are there. Imagine, no, if a human being does not have feelings, or if living entities will not have feelings, then how will that relationship work? That it will be like, for example, I have a mouse over here. Okay, that mouse bichara does not speak anything. So what relation it will establish with me, right? So similarly, when there is a living entity, he will have certain feelings. He will have some interactions with the Supreme Lord, right? Otherwise, that relationship will be just a very dry relationship. So when we become devotees, we also go through these, rasas in some minute percentages, maybe 5%, 10%, 15%, that way. But these rasas are enhancing the relationship between the Lord and his devotee. Fine, Madhavi? Yeah. So, dear devotees, thank you so much for the wonderful association, and we'll meet tomorrow. Tomorrow is a Friday. and we'll continue with this. I hope we should, complete this chapter by tomorrow. But there are certain pastimes also of Raja. From the 25th shloka to the 34th shloka, I don't know whether we'll be finishing. Whatever is Krishna's desire, even if we don't finish, we can actually conclude on Monday also. So thank you so much for your wonderful association. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.